What if the first 10 seconds of your morning are quietly shaping the next 10 hours of your day? Have you ever opened your eyes and instantly felt overwhelmed, like your mind is already sprinting while your body hasn't even left the bed? Maybe the real battle isn't the emails, the traffic, or the meetings, but the very first thoughts you allow to enter your mind. Have you ever noticed how chaotic your mind can feel the moment you wake up, like your thoughts are already pulling you in 10 different directions before your feet even hit the ground? The alarm goes off. You reach for the snooze button, just 5 more minutes, you tell yourself. But those 5 minutes stretch into 30. Your eyes are still heavy, your mind foggy. Half asleep, your hand finds your phone. And without thinking, you're lost in an endless scroll, news, texts, social media, distractions piling up before the day has even begun. Then it hits you. You're late. You spring out of bed in a panic, already tired and disoriented. There's no plan, no intention, just reaction. You feel like you're chasing the day before it even starts. Your energy is scattered. Your attention is everywhere but on yourself. This is what happens when we live without inner discipline, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. But don't mistake discipline for rigidity. It's not about being cold or robotic. True inner discipline is the ability to steer your mind with calm authority. To pause before reacting. To resist the pull of autopilot habits and passing emotions. A Stoic doesn't leave the state of their mind up to chance. They train it daily, the same way a warrior trains their body. And every morning. That's your battlefield. The first enemy is often yourself, your urges, your distractions, your need for comfort. But here's the truth, when you start your day with presence and clarity, without reaching for your phone, without rushing, you reclaim the driver's seat. Productivity follows, yes. But more importantly, you gain something deeper, peace. In this video, we're going to explore 11 powerful morning practices rooted in Stoic wisdom. Each lesson is practical, each one tied to real-world examples so you can apply them easily, even if your life is busy or unpredictable. And it all begins with the first one: start quietly. Morning isn't just the start of another day. It's sacred time, an opening between the subconscious and the conscious mind. Right after you wake up, your inner world is wide open. Thoughts drift in like waves, emotions are still raw. If you're not grounded, you'll get swept away, without even noticing the tide pulling you. We ended the last section by exploring how the fragile moments after waking can set the tone for your entire day. So, what's the first move? It begins with stillness. That's why stillness matters more than most people realize. Just 3 to 5 quiet minutes each morning, no phone, no talking, no scrolling. Nothing but you, your breath, and the present moment. It sounds simple, even insignificant. But this small act of intentional stillness is like hitting reset on your internal operating system. Science backs this up. A few minutes of silence early in the morning helps regulate your breathing, easing your body out of the restless, low-grade stress state left over from sleep. This transition activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for rest, digestion, and recovery. It's your body's way of saying, you're safe. You're home. You can breathe now. It does more than calm the body. It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. It settles the nervous system. And most importantly, it gives you the rare gift of starting your day awake, present, and grounded, not immediately swept away by external chaos. Adam, a CEO of a fast-moving tech startup, once shared the one habit that helped him stay steady in high-pressure environments. Before opening his laptop, before checking emails, or responding to the world, he sits in a quiet corner of his room. No music. No app. No ritual. He simply closes his eyes, takes 3 deep breaths, and sits in silence for 5 minutes. He doesn't even call it meditation. He describes it as a small moment to remind himself, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm in charge of how this day begins, not the world, not the headlines, not anyone else. Since building this habit, Adam finds that he doesn't get rattled so easily. When stressful news or problems come up, he doesn't react on impulse. He responds with intention. And that, right there, is the difference between a scattered mind and a trained one. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That's not just poetic, it's practical. It's a call to stop seeking peace in the outer world, which is loud, messy, and always demanding. Instead, turn inward. That's where real control begins. Morning stillness isn't about spirituality or trendy mindfulness practices. It's a Stoic strategy. It's how you fire up the engine of your mind on your terms, before the world has a chance to hijack it. It's about choosing intention over reaction. And this one act becomes the foundation for an entire day lived with clarity, discipline, and self-mastery, the very core of Stoic wisdom. Now that we've grounded ourselves in stillness, let's build on that momentum. Lesson 2 is about choosing your compass, identifying the virtue of the day. Once you've created a calm, intentional start with stillness, the next step is about giving your day direction, a single inner compass that quietly guides every choice you make. It's like placing a compass on your desk before heading out into mental terrain. To train your mind with purpose, you need a clear direction. That's where virtue comes in. Each morning, ask yourself just one question: what is my virtue for today? It sounds simple, almost too small to matter. But don't underestimate its power. Choosing a single quality, like patience, honesty, courage, or temperance, gives your mind something to return to, especially when the world gets noisy. This isn't about theory or philosophy on a shelf. It's about application. Let's say you choose patience. That day, every irritation becomes training. You're stuck in traffic. You're waiting for someone who's late. Instead of falling into frustration, you pause and remind yourself, this is the patience I chose this morning. You take a deep breath. You notice the emotion rising, but you don't let it carry you away. You observe it. You stay centered. In that moment, you're not a passive victim of circumstances, you're a Stoic in action, choosing to master your mind, not be mastered by it. A day like that may seem ordinary on the surface. But beneath it, something powerful is happening. You're rewiring yourself. Strengthening a mental muscle. Becoming a little more of who you want to be. And there's a bonus: this practice also clears the mental fog that so many people wake up with. When your mind doesn't know what to focus on, it drifts. You move through your day reactively, led by emotions, emails, complaints. But when you begin with one chosen virtue, every action gains quiet purpose. That single word becomes an anchor, keeping your mind steady amidst the chaos. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Live as if today were the last day you were granted to live with reason." If today were your last, what would you want your mind filled with? Would it be irritation, anxiety, and envy? Or calm strength, humble courage, and quiet integrity? The Stoics remind us, you choose. And then, you train. So here's the method. Each morning, choose one virtue. Throughout the day, live it. Watch yourself. Notice where it's easy and where it's hard. And at night, reflect. That's how the Stoic sharpens the mind, not in moments of dramatic conflict, but through the small, repeated decisions of ordinary life. And once you've anchored yourself in virtue, it's time to prepare your mind for life's unexpected storms. Because the next lesson will challenge how you see every setback, and reveal why a Stoic views obstacles not as threats, but as training. Let's move to lesson 3, premeditatio malorum. Once you've chosen your virtue for the day, you've equipped your mind with purpose. But what happens when the world doesn't cooperate? That's when the Stoic mindset of premeditatio malorum becomes essential. Things won't always go as planned, and deep down, you know that. So why not prepare for it? That's the wisdom behind premeditatio malorum, a foundational Stoic practice whose Latin name means, the premeditation of evils. But don't be fooled by the name. This isn't about negativity or expecting the worst. It's about readiness. It's about resilience. The Stoics didn't rely on luck. They relied on mental preparation. They trained their minds the way warriors sharpen their swords, not just when the battle begins, but every single day, so when adversity strikes, they are calm, steady, and composed. And the morning? That's the perfect time to apply this principle. Before the demands of work, traffic, or deadlines begin pulling at your attention, pause. Sit quietly. Ask yourself, what might throw me off today? It could be a delayed delivery, a difficult conversation, a child's meltdown, or a meeting that runs off course. Whatever it is, visualize it clearly. Not to stress yourself out, but to strip away the shock factor. When you name a challenge before it happens, it loses some of its power over you. Your mind whispers, this might happen, and I'm ready. This isn't just ancient wisdom, it aligns with modern science. Psychologists call it mental rehearsal, and elite athletes use it constantly. They imagine setbacks, a stumble on the track, a missed shot, a last-minute loss. But they don't stop there. They mentally rehearse how they'll recover, how they'll adapt under pressure and stay focused when it matters most. You and I might not be stepping onto a professional field, but life presents its own kind of high-stakes moments every day. That meeting. That traffic jam. That unexpected email. And when you've trained your nervous system to stay calm in the face of imagined difficulty, you're far more likely to stay calm when the real thing happens. Premeditatio malorum doesn't just stop at thinking. It prompts action. If you imagine your internet cutting out mid-meeting, you instinctively test your Wi-Fi or set up a backup connection. If you foresee a colleague challenging your ideas, you prepare your points more thoroughly. You're no longer reacting, you're responding. And that's a sign of discipline in motion. This is morning strength training for your mind. Learning to live with uncertainty, so when it shows up, you don't freeze. You move with clarity. So here's a small challenge: for the next 7 days, spend 3 minutes each morning imagining that the day might not go perfectly. Not to fear the worst, but to strengthen your best. And as you grow in this habit, you'll notice something shift. The more you prepare for what might go wrong, the more graceful you become when things actually go right, or even when they don't. Now that you've begun to train your mind to anticipate difficulty, it's time for the next Stoic pillar, perhaps the most freeing idea of all. Lesson 4: Distinguish between what you can control, and what you can't. Once you've trained your mind to expect challenges before they arrive, there's another skill every Stoic must master: knowing what's yours to carry, and what you must learn to release. Every morning, your mind is presented with a choice. You can worry about things that haven't happened yet. You can stress over outcomes you can't control. Or, you can center yourself on what you can do, can influence, and can improve, today. That single decision has the power to shape your entire day. It determines whether you walk through it with clarity and confidence, or with fatigue and frustration. One of the most powerful teachings in Stoic philosophy is this: draw a firm line between what is within your control and what is not. This isn't surrender. It's not passivity. It's protection. It's about preserving your limited mental energy, especially in those precious morning hours when your mindset is still forming. When your attention is anchored in what you can control, your thoughts, your behavior, your responses, you begin the day in a state of empowerment. You take action. You respond rather than react. But when your mind is consumed by things you can't control, like other people's moods, unfair criticism, or unpredictable outcomes, you become reactive, scattered, and emotionally drained. Let's make this real. Imagine you're preparing for a critical presentation. What's within your control? The clarity of your content. The time you spend rehearsing. Your body language. Your tone of voice. Even the outfit you choose. What's not in your control? The expressions on your audience's faces. A last-minute technical glitch. Or whether someone likes your delivery style. If you let your thoughts spiral around the unknowns, the what-ifs, you'll start your day on edge. Your nerves will take the lead instead of your preparation. But when you ground yourself in the controllables, anxiety fades. You enter the room with calm and confidence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it best. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. That's more than advice, it's a compass. One that points you toward freedom. Because the moment you stop gripping what isn't yours to control, you start reclaiming your strength. You stop chasing perfection and start living with presence. Here's a simple daily practice to shift your mindset. Each morning, ask yourself, what is truly within my control today? Maybe it's the time you get out of bed. The way you greet others. The patience you choose when plans fall apart. These may seem small, but they build mental muscle. Try this challenge. For the next 7 mornings, write down 3 things you'll focus on controlling, and 3 things you'll choose to release. Do this consistently, and you'll begin to feel a shift. Not just in your focus, but in your overall peace. You'll start to notice that life feels less chaotic, because your mind is no longer fighting battles it was never meant to fight. And here's a moment of reflection. Have you ever caught yourself wasting precious energy on something far beyond your control? If so, you're not alone. Feel free to share your story in the comments. Someone out there might need to hear it. Now that you've begun mastering what belongs to you, and letting go of what doesn't, it's time to take that clarity even further. In Lesson 5, we'll explore how setting a powerful morning intention can act like a compass that realigns your focus all day long. Once you've grounded yourself in what you can control, the next Stoic discipline is even more powerful. And often more difficult, learning to act before you feel ready. Lesson 5, Act Now. There's a trap that catches even the most well-intentioned minds. We wait. We wait to feel more awake. We wait for motivation. We wait until the timing feels right, until our energy is perfect, or until inspiration finally strikes. But the Stoics saw waiting as a luxury, one we often can't afford. To them, emotions were unpredictable. But actions? Actions were everything. They understood something many still struggle with today: your emotions might lie to you, delay you, or confuse you. But your actions define who you are. Stoicism doesn't care whether you feel like it. It cares whether you do it. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. Marcus Aurelius captured this truth perfectly when he wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." It's not a scolding. It's a callback to your nature. You weren't born to lie in bed, scrolling through a phone. You were built to act, to shape the world through what you do, not what you feel. Taking action doesn't mean rushing or skipping thoughtful preparation. It means initiating, even if it's just one small, deliberate step. Let's say you wake up feeling off. Still groggy. Still doubting. But instead of sitting in that haze, you rise. You splash cold water on your face. You stretch. You brew your coffee. You open a book and read just 2 pages. And in that moment, you've already won. You've taken the first step away from procrastination and into discipline. No need for meditation playlists. No fancy routine. Just motion. Simple. Raw. Honest. And here's what modern neuroscience tells us. When you take action, your brain rewards you. Even a small task releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and reward. It's not waiting for inspiration, it's waiting for you to begin. The more you act, the more your brain learns. This is what we do in the morning. You begin to turn action into habit. Habit into rhythm. Rhythm into identity. This is what the Stoics lived by. Their writings weren't just words carved into stone, they were commands to themselves. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's not theory. That's practice. And if you truly want to train your mind to become disciplined, if you want to break free from hesitation, there's no shortcut, no perfect moment to wait for. You just begin. Even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for the ideal mood. Just take the first step. Because while you can't control how you feel when you wake up, you can control what you do next. And that single decision can shift the entire trajectory of your day. Now, there's one more lesson that brings all of this into sharp focus. Because nothing makes us act more intentionally than the awareness that time is limited. Lesson 6, Memento Mori, the art of remembering that one day, we won't wake up at all. No more alarm clock. No more sunlight pouring through the window. No more, "I'll do it tomorrow." Memento Mori, Latin for, remember that you will die, isn't a threat. It's a wake-up call. A gentle, but powerful whisper from Stoic philosophy reminding us that life is fragile, temporary, and unpredictable. And that's exactly why it's beautiful. Far from making you morbid or pessimistic, this lesson deepens your appreciation for the present. It sharpens your awareness. It pulls you out of autopilot and into full presence. Because when you wake up each morning with the awareness that life is finite, something shifts. You stop putting things off. You don't delay the meaningful stuff, like calling a loved one, journaling a thought, stepping outside for a quick workout, or sitting quietly with yourself. These become no longer optional. They become sacred. And when you realize this moment could be your last time doing something so simple, you start doing it with your whole heart. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Not to frighten yourself, but to focus yourself." That kind of mindset doesn't shrink you with fear. It expands you with gratitude. Imagine you're about to ignore a call from a family member, again. That quiet tug in your chest reminds you, memento mori. And so, you answer, not from obligation, but from love. From the recognition that this moment, this voice, this connection, may not always be available. And you'll be glad you didn't postpone it. Practicing memento mori in the morning is like breaking glass on the autopilot button. It pulls you back from the screen. From the loop of delay. From the fog of distraction. It clears the path to what truly matters. You stop wasting the most valuable hour of your day, the first one. You stop waiting for the perfect mood, the right energy, or more time. Because when you remember that time is limited, you use it differently. You live differently. So if you've made it this far into the journey, I want to pause and say something important. Thank you. Seriously. You're not just consuming words, you're making space for them. You're taking the time to train your mind, to grow inward, and to live more fully. That means something. I see it. And I appreciate it. Now, if memento mori helps you wake up to life's fragility, the next Stoic lesson is about how you respond to what life brings, especially when it doesn't go your way. Because sometimes, the moment you decide to take life seriously, the air conditioner breaks. Or the meeting gets cancelled. Or someone says the wrong thing at the worst possible time. Coming up, Lesson 7, Amor Fati. The Stoic way of embracing life not just with tolerance, but with love. If memento mori helps us appreciate every moment, then Amor Fati teaches us how to face each one, with strength, acceptance, and even love. Lesson 7, Amor Fati, Love of Fate. It's hot. You're running late. Something small breaks down, a fan, a plan, or your patience. In that moment, frustration creeps in. You feel your entire day start to unravel because of one minor inconvenience. But if you're living by Stoic philosophy, you don't ask, why me? You say something different. You say, good. This is necessary. This is the mindset of amor fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. It's one of Stoicism's most profound pillars. And no, it's not just about accepting what happens. It's deeper than that. It's about embracing everything, good or bad, as part of the unfolding order of the universe. Not with resistance. Not with bitterness. But with the fierce clarity of someone who knows that every challenge is fuel for becoming stronger. Because when your mind is disciplined, you stop seeing misfortunes as interruptions. You start seeing them as assignments. Take a simple example. The air conditioner breaks on a scorching morning. You could curse under your breath. Let the irritation fester. Blame the heat for your mood. Or, you could choose the Stoic path. Step outside. Let the warmth wake your body. Walk a few laps. Breathe deeply. Take in the early light. Notice the world, something you might have missed in the comfort of routine. It didn't go your way, but you didn't lose your way. You didn't gain control over the situation. You gained control over yourself. And that's the real practice of amor fati, not demanding the world match your preferences, but training your mind to stay in harmony with life as it unfolds. Every small inconvenience becomes a test. Rain, traffic, delay, each one a light challenge to your mindset. Pass the test, and you grow stronger. Fail it? That's okay. Tomorrow, you get another shot. To practice amor fati is to greet each moment, expected or not, with courage, adaptability, and acceptance. You stop asking, why me? You start saying, it's me, and I'm strong enough to make something good out of this. Mental discipline doesn't come from trying to control every outcome. It comes from learning to release what you can't control, and master your response to it. So each morning, remind yourself. Whatever comes today, I will love it. I will learn from it. I will let it shape me, not break me. And as your mind learns to adapt with grace, there's one more vital element to strengthen alongside it, your body. Because a sharp mind can only go so far in a weakened vessel. Coming up, Lesson 8, train your body as you train your mind. The Stoics knew it well. Strength isn't just philosophical, it's physical. Let's explore why. A resilient mind is powerful, but pair it with a resilient body, and you unlock your full potential. The Stoics understood, strength is not divided between the mind and body. It's a unity. Lesson 8, train your body as you train your mind. Your mind and body are not separate forces. They rise, or fall, together. Every time you force yourself to rise early, lace up your shoes, and move, whether it's a jog around the block or a short set of stretches, you're sending a powerful message to yourself. I am in control. Even the simplest movement holds meaning. Just 15 minutes of jogging. 2 minutes of planking. A short bodyweight flow. In return, your body begins to release endorphins, those natural chemicals that boost your mood and reduce stress. Your breathing steadies. Your thoughts begin to slow. Each step grounds you in the present. Each drop of sweat clears away the mental fog. This is what the Stoics called being fully present in reason. And what's remarkable is what happens after. You don't just feel physically refreshed, you start thinking more clearly. Worries shrink. Decisions feel lighter. Your mind becomes more focused, more deliberate. But this isn't just about fitness. It's about discipline. By committing to move your body, even for just a few minutes a day, you're actively building one of Stoicism's core virtues, self-discipline. Physical movement becomes a silent battle against two of the most dangerous forces in modern life, procrastination and comfort. Every push-up. Every deep breath during discomfort. Every early morning you show up for yourself. Proves you can do hard things, not because you're in the mood, but because you chose to. And here's the truth. If you want to train your mind, start with your body. You don't have to become a top athlete. Just rise from bed. Stretch your arms. Take a deep breath. Go for a walk. Move with intention. These small gestures, they are your body's way of saying, "Good morning, I'm alive, and I choose discipline today." So now I'll ask you, how are you training your body each morning? Let us know in the comments below. Your story, your routine, might be the exact spark someone else needs to begin their own journey. Now that we've covered the body, it's time to nourish the mind directly. And one of the simplest, most powerful tools for this. Lesson 9, read and reflect on a Stoic quote. Stoic quotes are like mental medicine, small, potent doses of clarity that can realign your entire day. They're short. They're deep. And when you let them in, they work like adjusting the rudder of a ship, keeping your mind from drifting aimlessly through the currents of chaos. Here's the truth. When your mind first wakes up, it's soft, impressionable like wet clay. If you scroll through your phone and flood it with news, opinions, or curated images, you're lighting the match of anxiety before the day even begins. But if you choose instead to open your day with a Stoic thought, something like, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Then you're planting a seed. One that reminds you, you decide how to respond to life. Not the world. Not circumstance. You. Reading a Stoic quote isn't about absorbing facts. It's about reflection. You pause. You connect those ancient words to your present moment. To your life. Maybe you write it down. Then you add a note. I tend to react too quickly when criticized. Today, I'll pause for 5 seconds before responding. In that moment, something powerful happens. Theory becomes action. And your mind begins to shift. This isn't just ancient wisdom, modern science backs it up. Research shows that morning journaling paired with self-reflection can reduce stress, improve focus, and help you make better decisions. Because when you hold a strong idea in your mind, it becomes a lens, a framework, that sharpens how you see the world. And the results? You stop being dragged around by every impulsive emotion or chaotic trigger. You start leading your day instead of following it. Not with pressure. Not with forced positivity. But with calm clarity. Each morning like this becomes more than just a ritual. It becomes a reset. A moment when you're not just reading a quote, you're retraining how you think, one small reflection at a time. And now that you've reflected with clarity, it's time to take it one step further. If reading a Stoic quote helps you anchor your thoughts, journaling takes it a step further, it holds up a mirror to your inner world. Lesson 10, Journaling, a mirror for the soul. Journaling isn't a performance. It's not a task to be graded or polished. It's a mirror, one that lets you see your soul with more clarity. Not to judge. Not to criticize. But to understand, and grow. There's no supervisor watching. No one is keeping score. It's just you, your pen, and your truth. You don't have to write a novel. 5 minutes is enough. All you need is a fixed moment, maybe in the morning to set your direction, or in the evening to reflect and reset. And when you write, don't try to impress. Don't force positivity or dress up your words. Be real. Write as if you're speaking to a wiser version of yourself. One who doesn't interrupt. One who listens. One who gently guides you toward growth, day by day. At first, it might feel awkward. What should I write? Why am I talking to myself? But give it just a few days, and you'll feel the shift. Journaling helps you reclaim your thoughts. It lets you name your emotions, rather than be ruled by them. It pulls you out of autopilot. And it teaches you to pause, to look inward, to process rather than react. One successful entrepreneur once said, "Journaling each night not only helps me sleep better, but it makes me a better decision maker the next day." Why? Not because journaling is some magical cure, but because it helps you see with clarity what to hold on to and what to let go. And that's real power. If you've never tried journaling, today is the perfect day to begin. All you need is a notebook, a pen, and 5 quiet minutes. Don't box yourself in. Don't worry about grammar or structure. Write short. Write long. Write messy. It doesn't matter, as long as it's honest. And if you already journal regularly, stay tuned, because what comes next will take your mental training even deeper. We're moving into the heart of inner freedom. The kind of discipline that doesn't feel harsh or rigid, but light and energizing. After building clarity through journaling, we arrive at one of the most transformative habits. Not just for the mind, but for the heart, the daily practice of gratitude and forgiveness. Lesson 11, Practice gratitude and forgiveness. Not everything in your life is perfect. But there is always something to be thankful for. It could be the roof over your head, a nourishing meal, a loved one within reach, or simply the quiet strength of being healthy enough to rise and start a new day. Gratitude grounds you. It lowers cortisol, the hormone of stress, and boosts endorphins, the chemicals of calm and joy. It's nature's way of saying, look at what's already good. And here's a powerful truth. You can't be grateful and angry at the same time. Gratitude softens the grip of negativity. It reminds you that so many things you treat as routine are actually blessings in disguise. But alongside gratitude comes something even more difficult. Something even more freeing, forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's not about excusing harm. It's about refusing to let that harm own your mind any longer. Because holding on to anger or resentment is like carrying poison in your veins. It doesn't heal the wound, it keeps it open. To forgive is to say, I will no longer let pain dictate my present. That's not surrender. That's strength. That's choosing freedom. And in Stoic philosophy, that freedom, the ability to respond instead of react, is everything. So why carry yesterday's pain into today's new beginning? Here's a morning practice that can open your heart and clear your mind. Write down 3 things you're grateful for today. A fresh breeze. A warm meal. A second chance. Say thank you, not just with your words, but with your attention. With the way you treat others. With the way you carry yourself. And if something's been weighing on you, an unresolved conflict, a wound from someone else, try this. Write down what you wish you could say. Even if you don't send it, write it. Forgive them, not for their sake, but for yours. You'll feel as though you've dropped a heavy backpack you didn't even realize you were carrying. Gratitude and forgiveness cost nothing. But they give you everything, a liberated mind, a lighter spirit, and a soul that wakes up in peace. Because Stoicism isn't just about building resilience. It's about freedom. Freedom from emotional baggage. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from the weight you no longer need to carry. And that freedom begins every morning, with intention. We've now completed 11 powerful lessons to help you train your mind each morning. From simple habits like sitting in stillness and journaling, to deeper Stoic principles like premeditatio malorum, the circle of control, and practicing daily gratitude. But there's one final step left. Because knowledge means nothing until you turn it into a ritual. A daily rhythm that transforms wisdom into who you are. In the final chapter, we'll bring it all together, and show you how to turn these morning lessons into a lasting Stoic morning routine. Each of these 11 lessons is a building block. Together, they form the foundation of a strong, calm, and intentional mindset, true to the spirit of Stoicism. Now, it's your turn. Don't just listen, live it. Take the 7-day challenge. Each morning for the next week, go through all 11 steps. From sitting in silence, to choosing a virtue, reflecting on a Stoic quote, journaling, and even practicing forgiveness. Track how your emotions, your focus, and your perspective on life begin to shift. Then come back, and let us know in the comments. What changed? Which lesson made the biggest difference for you? How do you feel after just one intentional week? This isn't just about productivity. It's about becoming the person you've always had the potential to be, steady, present, and deeply alive. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss the next part of your Stoic journey. And hey! Don't click away just yet. Your next video is right here, waiting in the corner. Click it, and I'll see you there.